Hola, buenos dias. I wanted to make a few quick videos concerning questions that people ask me over and over again that I thought would be helpful. And the first one I want to talk about is which guidebook you should purchase. There are a lot of guidebooks, especially if you're walking the Camino Frances. For the surrounding routes, maybe not so many guidebooks, but here are some of them that I've used that I really love. My old standby, the one that I really love, and I'm sorry about this video, it's not a professional video, but the one that I love the most is John Brierley's map book. And one of the reasons I love the map book is because it is so thin and so lightweight and so easy to take. And it really has all the information that you need to walk the Camino Frances. I really love that inside his book, right inside the inside cover, he's put a map of the entire Camino. If you turn the page, it'll go on to finish it up. So if you just want a quick look about where you're walking the next day, you can look there. I like that on the back cover, when you open the back cover, there's a map of all the different routes. And I find that really helpful to maybe determine where I'm going to walk on my next Camino, because even though you may think you're only going to walk one Camino, most people go on to walk more. I like the way the maps are laid out for several reasons. Let me find a good example. Okay, here is, let's see, that's not the one I want to find. Here is Nájera to Santo Domingo de Calzada. Okay, so you're looking at this map. There's several things I like about it. The first thing I like is it tells you in this stage it's 21 kilometers. I like that it lists all the little villages in between. I like that it lists and tells you where the fountains are. I like that it tells you where the albergues are. I like that it tells you if you're going to be walking along a highway. I like that it shows alternative routes. So maybe you want to take off on an alternative route. I just think it's really a good little map. It also has a view of the city up at the top, which is really helpful. On the opposite page, I like that it gives you an elevation map, and so you can see up ahead you're going to have some climbing, and then again along the bottom of that it shows you how many kilometers from place to place. So for example, excuse me, if you're in Nájera and you only want to walk to Azofra, you can see that it's only 5.8 kilometers up the road. I just like it. And then down at the bottom it has a little bit about each stage in English, in Spanish, and usually in French. This little book is really inexpensive. I purchased this one in Spain. At the time it was 13.90 euros. I'm pretty sure you can get this on Amazon probably for under 20 bucks. So that's my favorite book. Next favorite is the regular Brierley, and in the regular Brierley he has the same front cover and back cover information, but he gives a little more information in the verbiage, not on the maps. The maps are the same, but he will tell you a little bit about each village. So here you can see he's telling you, first of all, you're entering Castilla y León, so he's going to tell you about that over here. Then he's going to tell you about Grañón. He's going to tell you about the cross that you're going to pass. He's going to tell you about Santo Domingo. Maybe if you need a little more information than just following a map, this is a better book for you. Again, it's not too heavy, really. It's fairly thin. If you're walking the Portuguese route, I also like Brierley. He has this is an older one because I walked many years ago. But it's the same deal. On the front page of the Portuguese, he shows you the whole route, and then as you get inside, he has the maps that list the fountains and the villages and everything, and along with the elevation map on the other side. So he does make a Portuguese route guide, and I really like that. If you're walking the Via de la Plata, the book that I found the best for me is the Cicerone Guide. There used to be another Via de la Plata guidebook, and I can't remember off the top of my head who did it. It's yellow and purple, and I'll put a note below if I can remember. But it's no longer published, and in fact it's really expensive to purchase. But this one is published and it's updated fairly regularly, so I think it's a good guidebook for the Via de la Plata. The Pilgrimspad, I'm not sure if there's anything published right now, but you can find 2 books on the Pilgrimspad if you want to walk from Amsterdam. The problem I found walking from Amsterdam was I really needed to speak Dutch, and I don't, and so that was not a very successful Camino for me. There are several really good websites, and I'll list them below. One is Grons, where you can go, and they're updated regularly, so you can see what albergues there are on the route, what it costs, what the facilities are. Do they have a place to cook? Do they have a shower? How many beds do they have? Are they open or closed? Sometimes they'll give you an email address so you can book ahead. And what I did the first time that I walked the Via de la Plata is I just made my own. I bought one of these little books and I went through and I printed stuff off, and I also, like here's where I get my credential. I go to the Plaza de España. This is the phone number, the hotel where I wanted to stay in Zafra, and I just made my own little guidebook all along the route. And there's Eroski has a really nice website that has maps, and I even printed out maps and put them in the little book of different stages. So making your own is an option, and it's really quite inexpensive. This had the elevations on the bottom. It had the map listing all the different albergues. It had pictures of the albergues. So that's another option, is just to make your own. If you're interested in the history of the Camino and the different villages, and you want to know, there's a cultural handbook that's just a classic, and it's called The Pilgrimage Road to Santiago, and it's by David Gitlitz and Linda K. Davidson, and it is like the classic. It is just chock full of information on the different villages, on the history, the language, the culture. It's a wonderful book. And a newer book that just came out that I really like is this Moon, Camino de Santiago. It talks about the sacred sites, the historic villages, local food and wine. And I kind of get tired sometimes because so many people are publishing so many books on the Camino. It's just overwhelming. Every year there's 20 more. So I try not to buy a lot of books on the Camino, but for some reason I bought this one, and I do really love this. There's a lot of information in it. So those are my favorites. A lot of times for routes there is no guidebook. A lot of times you can go to the Confraternity, which you can find the Confraternity of St. James online, and they will sell you little guidebooks. They're not expensive at all, 5 or 10 euros, and they'll give you all the basics. So, you just have to do a little research. The other good resource is the Camino Santiago forum that Ivor runs. There are always people actually on the Camino that you can pick their brains, and a lot of people post live from the Camino, and you get a lot of good information on those threads too. So those are some of my favorites. I hope this has helped, and that's all for now. Buen Camino.